Oh boy. Oh boy. You guys are in for a treat tonight. I have to make an alchemy video? But this is not that video. You'll see. Don't worry. But I have to make an alchemy video. So I have to read the new alchemy cards. This is an alchemy review. Trust me. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. So first of all, we got some Bloomborough alchemy packs that we're gonna check out. This is regular Bloomborough. Boom, wild card. Crushed it. What are these cards? Are you ready? Are you ready? Vigorous Farming, 2 and a green enchantment. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. All right, we're splunking. Another one of those effects, great for Brawl. At the beginning of your end step, the topmost land card in your library perpetually gains. Whenever this land is tapped for mana, add an additional green? At the beginning of your end step, the topmost land in your library perpetually gains. When it's tapped for mana, add an additional green. This is wild. How good is this? I think you would play it for the first part just because there's not enough splunking in our life, but man, that second ability is scary. Definitely worth a bit of an investment compared to just ramping something onto the battlefield. This is like, you know, the next land you draw out of your deck is gonna do extra duty. That's pretty good. Doesn't seem also blatant. Like this is a digestible card. Like once you see it in action, I'm sure we'll learn how good it is. Charged Conjuration. Enchantment, 4 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, instant and sorcery cards in your hand perpetually gain. This spell costs 1 less to cast. Sacrifice this. Conjure a card of your choice from the spell book to hand. Activate as a sorcery. And the very first card I see is Empty the Warrens, which is make 2 goblins and has Storm. So that's nutty. That has Storm, Galvanic Relay. Okay. Grape Shot Storm. I'm sensing a pattern. Oh, that's it. So you play this, you reduce your instants and sorceries every upkeep. You sack it, you get a Storm card. So it's both an enabler, it's a cost reducer, and it's eventually the payoff for a big turn. That's really good. That will go in my raw deck for sure. For sure. Like that. If I remember these cards exist, which is the biggest challenge when building Brawl decks, to remember that alchemy cards exist. If I remember, they will go in the deck. Let's read the next rare. Marshland Horde Master. Can I like scroll? Nope. It can't get you out of position here. If I click you, can I do? Nope. All right, whatever. You're just gonna have to trust me on what it says on the left. 1 and a black and a red, rare, 2/4 lizard warlock. When this or another lizard enters, this perpetually gains battle cry. Perpetually gains battle cry. So does that mean, so battle cry stacks, right? So in this, so does that mean when you play more lizards, the battle cry gets bigger? Whenever the Horde Master or another lizard dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. What a lizard! It's not legendary. So we can run a bunch of these. All right, alchemy lizards might be where it's at. I just made a standard lizard video. When you guys see that, you'll see how much fun that is, how good that is. So I'm already looking at this Horde Master. I already want to lizard up. Look at that. So mad. My friend died. My friend died. I'm gonna scream and all the lizards are gonna go ham. We love this. We love this. All right, what is this? Sandcloud Harbinger, 2 and a white, 2/4 elemental horse. When it enters, conjure 3 cards named Sunscorched Desert into the top 10 cards of each player's library at random. What? Wait, what does that mean? Each player gets 3 deserts, or they get a random number of deserts? I think they each get random deserts in their top 10. I think they each get 3 deserts. Whenever a player plays a desert, that player draws a card and you gain 3 life. Either player, if they play the card you conjured into their deck, you gain 3 life, but they deal 1 damage to you or a planeswalker. This is a no-brainer. Nope, that's not. Whenever a player plays a desert, that player draws, but you gain 3 life. This card is stupid. I don't know exactly what deck it goes in. It is pretty fun. It does say whenever a player plays a desert, so it doesn't have to be these deserts, which means you run it in a different desert deck? Question mark? We need a desert deck on Arena, I guess, and then Sandcloud Harbinger is a banger. Whatever. I think that's a fun card. All right. So far, none of these get Alchemy D- like design. So far, these are pretty fun. All of these I could see like playing in a deck and not being upset. Tasteful Offering, 1 and a black sorcery. You get a 2-time boon with whenever you sacrifice 1 or more permanents, seek a non-land card and you create a food token. So the rub is you play this, you make a food, you sack that food at some point and you seek a non-land card. And then you just need to sack something else, which could be a fetch land in Brawl, and you seek another non-land card. That's kind of free value in the right deck. It's very deck specific. Cindercone Smite. Again, apologies. What do you want me to do? Just hide my face so you can read cards? I'll read you the card. Get a good book. 1 red sorcery. It deals 2 damage to target creature. Nice. You create a treasure token if you weren't the starting player. Nice. Weren't starting player cards I actually like. And this is a very simple one. If you went second, you get a free treasure and you get to kill their turn 1 play if it's toughness 2 or less. That's good. Fountainport Charmer, 2 and a green. Frog Bard uncommon 3/3. Offspring 1. Okay, so far really good rates. If this does anything good, when this enters, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain. It costs 1 less to cast. That's a little awkward. Obviously, if you're playing a big creature deck, this is good. If your deck is mostly creatures, this is good. But is it better than other things you can run? Because this goes into a deck that runs like a lot of creatures, but not typal, because unless it's frog specific, right? Maybe there's some combos with this though. Maybe you make your Ominous Traveler cost 2 less, and then you can just play it for free over and over. Yeah, well, there's always combos. I don't know. This one's a little tougher. If it had any kind of card draw on it, it would probably be busted. So it's fine. We got another Smite. Water Spout Warden, 2 and a blue. Oh, nope. These are just Bloomburrow cards. They just have Bloomburrow cards in the packs. Okay, cool. The pack makeup for Alchemy, I always find a little... Huh? What? Anyway, let's go see the rest of the cards. We have to decide what we are going to craft. Which Alchemy cards I'm going to craft. Ah! All right, not collected. Click. Let's go. What do we got? Awestruck Signet? Signet spelled differently, so Kygnet? I don't know this word. 1 white for a 2/1 Bird Scout, rare, I'm listening, starting intensity 0. Whenever a creature you control with flying enters, if this card is named this, cards you own named this intensify by 1. As long as a card's intensity is 3 or more, it has base power toughness 5/4, has flying and vigilance, and is named Radiant Swan. So the rub is you play 3 of these and they are 1 mana 5/4 flyers with vigilance. Yeah, that's it. So there's also, like, you think of like Nurturing Pixie bouncing this, right? And then play it again. And that's a way to get your plays up and make it stronger. I don't love intensity, and I definitely don't like having to play a lot of the same thing because it doesn't fit into Brawl. Yeah, but this might be very powerful. This is the first design I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to play that. All right, Cottontail Caretaker is 1 and a white for a 2/2 rabbit citizen. When it enters, choose a white creature card in your hand. That card perpetually gains offspring 1. I can give my spirited companion offspring? There's uses for this. Like all kinds of ETB decks, right? You might want to run this because giving something perpetual offspring is really like it is potentially powerful. Only 1 mana to make another one of it and double its effects, like 2 Lorna the Third Path. Well, legendary, but what can you do? 2 Skyclave apparitions. There we go. Stuff like that. With 2 ambitious farmhands, 2 spirited companions, etc. 3 Tree Battalion, 3 and a white instant. Look at the top 6. Collected Company, is that you? You may put a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them on the battlefield, then conjure a duplicate of it onto the battlefield. The duplicate has base power and toughness 1/1. Put the rest on the bottom. It's Collected Company! And you only have to hit 1 creature with it, not 2. Well, there's decks where that's just great. Oh my goodness, this is in Alchemy. Oh man, what is the best thing you can copy with this? I'll go down that rabbit hole if I decide that's the deck I'm building. I'm kind of scared. Pool resources. 2 and a blue, gift a tap fish, instant, draw 2. If a gift was promised, seek 2 instead. Not bad. I mean, seeking 2 non-land cards is pretty good, but like these formats seem too fast for like 3 mana draw 2s, but it's not a bad control card for sure. Shellfish Scholar is 2 and a blue rat wizard 3/2. When this or another rat you control enters, conjure a card named Think Twice into your graveyard. Okay, value. Threshold. Spells you cast from graveyard this turn cost 2 less to cast. How good is this? If there's other rat payoffs, it's fine. Otherwise, it's pretty expensive to flash back your Think Twice. But it is a cool little value card. Tempest Trapper, 3 and a blue, 2/5. Otter Wizard, rare. Tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend only to cast instant or sorceries. Ramp in blue. Whenever you cast your 3rd spell each turn, exile a random card from your library. You may play it without paying its mana cost. More storm and stuff. Is it too expensive? Maybe. But man, if it lives, oh my gosh. And it's got that booty. Yeah, that's worth a try in storm decks as well. Although storm decks are very crowded. And at this cost, it's particularly dangerous. So in Brawl, I don't know. In Alchemy, I really don't know. Like, what are we doing? 3 spells. They really want to make a storm deck. We have Charged Conjuration in this, but they're both 4 drops. That's so slow. Archival Whirl. 3 blue. Gift a Ristic Study. Shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7. If the gift wasn't promised, each other player also does this. Wait, it's a one-sided time twister? It's a one-sided 5 mana draw 7 if you gift the Ristic Study. Okay. Sweet. And it's different art on the Ristic Study. How nice. Can we craft that? Oh man. This and Shieldred are legal in this format, right? Or did Shieldred rotate? Alchemy's on a 2-year rotation. Shieldred rotated, maybe? I think it did. Chittering Skull Speaker, 1 and a black, 1/1. Starting intensity 0. When it enters, cards you own name this intensify by 1. Then you draw X cards and lose X life. So you play this squirrel for 2, you draw, and you lose a life. And then the next one you play, you draw 2 and lose 2 life. And then so on. That's scary. And it's when it enters, so reanimating it does that. Very interesting. It's the One Ring, but on a squirrel. It's basically the One Ring on a squirrel. Sanguine Soothsayer is 1 and a black for a 2/1 flying lifelink. That's a decent rate. That is a bat cleric. Whenever it attacks, conjure Sanguine Bond into the top 15 at random. It perpetually gains. You may pay 0 rather than pay this mana cost. And when it enters, draw. Oh my god, is there a better card in the bat deck than Sanguine Bond? Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Oh my god. That is sick. Not to mention there's so many like life gain decks that want to play this card in Brawl. Oh my lord. What a stupid card. Hey, maybe I'm playing bats. Maybe we're playing bats. We'll see. Putrefying Rot Boar is 2 black 4/5 lifelink elemental boar. When it attacks, each non-land card in defending player's hand gains. When you cast it, you lose 1. Oh my goodness. When it attacks though, I mean, I think this is worse than it looks, just because if they have a bunch of cards in hand, the odds of one of them stopping the Rot Boar is pretty good. And they're not just going to let that attack happen. And even if it does, it's not like you win the game. It just does a lot more damage. So, I don't know. This card isn't as good as it looks. It is an exciting effect, though. Read the Smite. Brave Meadow Guard. 2 mana for a 1/1 mouse soldier. When it enters, conjure Might of the Meek into your hand. It's a good card. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability, put a counter on it. Fine mouse. It's a fine little mouse. Absolutely playable mouse right there. Traverse Valley, 1 green sorcery. Kicker is Forage, which is sack of food or exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Seek a non-basic land. If it's kicked, put that card onto the battlefield tapped. Is there a way to get food for 1 mana? Gumdrop Poisoner, right? That's a really cheap ramp spell if you can forage. Also, a Stitcher Supplier would go hard with this. It's a bit conditional, but like not a bad card. How about in Brawl? I mean, this in Gilded Goose is good stuff. Maybe in Brawl. Fetch lands mean it's 1 mana ramp on like turn 3. That's pretty good. Yeah, maybe in Brawl. We'll see. Bramble Armor Brawler, 2 green 5/5, can't be countered. Raccoon Warrior, trample. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature, this creature cards in your library perpetually get +1/+1. Ugh. Like what? That's insane. That's something to try out in a Brawl creature deck for sure, right? I mean, man, your elves start getting into 3/3 4/4s for 1 mana. That's pretty sick. Ace Flockbringer is 1 and a white blue flying bird scout 3/3. Good rate. Whenever you cast a creature spell without flying, conjure a duplicate into your hand. The duplicate gains flying. Oh, dang. So, of course, it doesn't go in an all flyers deck. But the idea of playing this like in Yorion and just making extra nightclub bouncers, making extra siphoners, making extra spirited companions seems pretty wild. Of course, they want to remove it, but I don't know. That's a cool card. Darkstar Banisher, 1 and a white black 2/2 flying black cleric. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less. Wow. When it leaves, the exiled card seeks a card that shares a type with the exiled card. Well, that's just fine, right? It goes in their hand. Doesn't even come back to the battlefield. This card is awesome. This card is awesome. Bats are looking insane. Like, we've got the thing that makes the Sanguine Bond that you play for free and draw a card. Now we've got the thing that just exiles their freaking any permanent that's not named Shieldred in this meta. Oh my god. That is a very sweet card. I mean, blinking this is kind of wild. It does have to be something the opponent controls. You can't blink your own stuff for value and then blink this, but that's fine. Still a cool card. Thought Rattle is a blue-black sorcery. Let me guess, they reveal their hand and you make them discard a card? No, you exile it. My bad. Threshold. If 7 or more cards in your graveyard seek a rat card, it costs 1 less to cast. Nice. Just any rat. It comes from the library. So you want to make sure you have a rat or 2 in your deck, just in case. Thought Rattles. It's fine. Indris the Hydrostatic Surge. 6 mana for a 5/5 otter. When this enters, conjure lightning bolt into your library. It gains storm, then shuffle. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. Storm decks are getting out of control. Oh my god. Yeah, that goes in my raw deck 100%. It can also be your commander. Interesting. Dazzling Flame Weaver, another lizard. 2 black red, 4 mana total, 4/4 menace, pay 3 life ward. Ouch. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, conjure a random card from the spell book. You may play it this turn. Oh, it's a bunch of spectacle cards. Spawn of Mayhem, Spikewill Acrobat, Blade Juggler, Body Count. Draw a card for each thing that died this turn. Weird. Revels, Drill Bit, Acrobat, Light Up the Stage, Rafter Demon. It's random, huh? Yeah, a lot of these aren't very playable. And then again, some of them are just like Lightning Bolt, Drill Bit, Thoughtseize, like Light Up the Stage, 2 more cards. Some of these are absolutely, like the range on this is pretty wild, actually. Lizards sound a bit crazy. Let's read a commander potential here. Uru Acorn Scrounger, 2 and a black green 3/3. When it enters, you may forage. When you do, conjure a Chitter Spitter. That is an artifact, 2 and a green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sack a token. If you do, put an Acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each Acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Green tap, make a squirrel. God. Whenever one or more squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, you may sack a token. If you do, put an Acorn counter on each permanent you control named Chitter Spitter. I don't know, man. I don't know. Squirrels are demented and crazy. They're absolutely crazy. Resourceful Collector is a raccoon druid. It's not legendary. 3 mana, 3/3 haste. At the beginning of your end step, a random non-food permanent card in your graveyard becomes a food. You gain 3 life, sack, claws, etc. You may play this card for as long as it's in your graveyard. Oh, that doesn't require Resourceful Collector to be on the field. So it hits once, something in your graveyard gains the ability to be cast again. It has to be a permanent, and it'll be food. And the food is obviously for flavor, right? This person's going in the trash and then using it as food because, you know, Trash Panda. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It does kind of have a cumulative effect that's pretty wild, right? Because it's perpetual. And it also perpetually has this ability. You may play the card for as long as it's in your graveyard. Is that attached to this raccoon? If the raccoon dies, can you still play the card? That's really important. Now I can't tell. I thought it was all part of the quotes, but it's actually not. Let me play it. Yeah, I think that actually is attached to the raccoon. I think I'm wrong, which makes this a lot worse. It would be so busted if you could like just play it from your graveyard for the rest of the game. Imagine putting it on like something you sacrifice to deal damage to a creature and just bringing it back over and over. Yeah, I guess too good to be true. All right, 3 more cards. We've almost made it, guys. Alchemy review. Gee. Ha! Recruit Instructor is a red and a white for a mouse warrior, a 1/1. Whenever one or more mice you control attack, draft a card from Recruit Instructor's spellbook, Valiant. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability, create a 1/1 white mouse token. That's a good mouse. That's definitely a good mouse. And then the spellbook gives you ways to target them, which is kind of exactly what you need. You need the combination of the thing that targets and the body to target. So this card is great. If it had haste, it would be absolutely insane. So Angel Fire Ignition. Wait, how do I keep seeing spellbook? There we go. A barge in becomes brutes. Okay. I get monster rolls. Boon of Safety, Cheeky House Mouse, Crumb and Get It, Defiant Strike, and the hell? I don't want to play Alchemy. I don't want to. Not like this. I mean, that's a nice card to slip in there, isn't it? Feather of Flight, Mabel's Metal, Might of the Meek, sure. Moment of Heroism, Unleash Fury, let's go. War Squeak, why not? Yeah, one of these things is not remotely like the others. Holy crap. Imagine if I hadn't looked at that spellbook the first time I get Ember Cleaved in this format. I would probably lose my mind. Buxton, Decorated Host. 3 green, white, 4/4 legendary Rabbit Noble. Could be a commander. Convoke at the beginning of your end step if you control a tapped creature. Very likely. Seek a non-land card with mana value X or less, where X is the number of tapped creatures. Put it onto the battlefield. Wow. It's a permanent card too. It doesn't have to be a creature. So like you could just hit an Anointed Procession, make some tokens, go off. Yeah, that card might be an awesome commander. I don't like green-white commanders at all, but maybe I like that one. That's pretty wild. Onto the battlefield is a heck of a line of text. All right, Frog, Leaf Leap Guide, not legendary. Blue-green, 1/1 Vigilance. Whenever another creature you control enters, the guide and that creature perpetually get +1/+1. Whenever another creature you control enters. Wow. And then return a creature to owner's hand. Wow. That's kind of insane stats if this is allowed to live. Yeah, that's solid. Your turn 2 isn't exciting, but every turn after sure is. Kind of a Gallic Reader's Plus. It's whenever another creature enters. So if you're making tokens, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. What? That's kind of insane. All right, this has been a review of Alchemy. I don't love intensity cards, but it's okay. Like that's my biggest complaint. For the most part, these cards are not as hard to understand as some of the, what I will call the insanity of Alchemy past. Most of these cards are pretty comprehensible, and some are very powerful, and some are just very exciting. They fit in a lot of existing decks like Storm and Bats, you know. So yeah, this is a good Alchemy set. It's definitely not as scary as the ones in the past, and if you only tuned in, there is always a little bit of a fear I have when I start reading Alchemy cards that I'm gonna read the Baldur's Gate Alchemy set, and I just have scars that haven't healed. But this isn't bad, and there's some really exciting cards here. I think my card of the day goes to the Sanguine Soothsayer. Free Sanguine Bond is wild. I can't wait to try that. Thanks for watching till the end. If you did, please leave a comment. Let me know that people actually watched me read these cards. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed an impromptu set review, and I'll see you later. You're cool.